Hey everyone, Austin here again with another Let's Play video. Today, as you can see, it's going to be Mortal Kombat 2 for the Super Nintendo. Yeah, great port of the game, one of my favorites from back in the day. It was the one I personally owned as a kid, and thus it was the one I played the most. I've actually done a lot of Mortal Kombat Let's Plays this year and in the prior year as well, a couple being Mortal Kombat 2 for a variety of other platforms like the Sega Saturn and the arcade. And you know what? After playing all these versions of Mortal Kombat 2, including some other like well-regarded ones like the 32X one and so forth, I really feel like this was probably the best home version on a console back in the day. It's just, it holds up really well today. Like, it looks great, it sounds great, it plays very well. It's got plenty of blood and guts and all that good stuff that you would expect from a Mortal Kombat game. It's just the most well-balanced of the console ports from back in the day. It's not choppy like the 32X one or Genesis version is in some of its, animations and so forth. The colors look very colorful through and through the entire game. The soundtrack is just nice and beefy and clear. And it's just a really, really well-rounded version of this game. I could probably gloat about it forever, but I'm not going to. We're going to go ahead and jump right into the game. We're probably not going to be able to beat this game, by the way. This is one of those games that is insanely difficult. And I think when I did my arcade playthrough of this game, I didn't even finish the game. I think I gave up at like either Kintaro or Shao Kahn or something like that. So we're going to go ahead and play Sub-Zero. He's my best character in the game. He's probably the best character for most people because he's so good in this game, and you'll see what I mean if you've never really played Mortal Kombat before. So here we go. The first few matches actually are pretty easy. You can just kind of get away with doing basic like roundhouses and stuff like that. You know, I like to roundhouse the guys as they, like, I can sweep them, then roundhouse them as they get up. Or not. Thanks, Scorpion. You can actually kick them in the beginning. As you get farther into the game, the AI starts reading your button inputs, and it just instantly reacts. And so you could just sit here and try to like low kick them. They'll sweep you. See, just like that. But they don't do it all the time in the very beginning. Like right now, I could probably uppercut him if he gets really close to me. Yeah, you'll never be able to do that later on in the game. So definitely definitely enjoy being able to win in the first couple of rounds because the difficulty really kicks up in this game and it's just super, super difficult. So yeah, as I said in the beginning of the video, I've actually done a couple of Mortal Kombat Let's Plays this year in particular, and then I did a couple, I think, the year prior. And you can expect more Mortal Kombat Let's Plays probably later this year. I've already done MK1 on the Genesis, MK2 now on the Super Nintendo, and MK2 on the Sega Saturn this year. So you can probably expect Mortal Kombat 1 on the Super Nintendo sometime soon. Later this year, I'd like to attack Mortal Kombat 3 for... I might end up doing the Genesis version of that one first. I already did the arcade version through the Midway Arcade Treasures Volume 2 pack. That was like last year or the year before or something like that. Let's do some fatalities. So this one right here, you can you do forward down high kick at about this range with Sub-Zero. And you'll do this deep freeze attack. You can actually do this infinitely. The timer stops, and every time you do this, the amount of time it gives you to finish off the fatality resets. So you can literally just sit here. If I'm doing a Let's Play on like Twitch, not a Let's Play, but if I'm doing like a playthrough on Twitch, and I'm trying to read the chat, I'll just sit here and just keep doing this motion while I can read the chat. Because you can't actually pause this game, unfortunately. Oops, I was too slow. Forward, down, forward, high punch will finish off the fatality. And there's another fatality. Each character in this game has two fatalities. My favorite with Sub-Zero is his, I forgot what it's called. It's been such a long time. But he basically charges up this, like, ball of ice, and it kind of acts as like a grenade. So this right here is why Sub-Zero is so good. He basically has a little combo where After a jump kick, you're pretty much guaranteed to get the to pull off the ice ground freeze maneuver. The enemy will just have to step up into it, which is it basically acts as like a stun move. So Sub-Zero's got, you know, his normal ice projectile like this, and it freezes your opponents. But he's also got the ground freeze, which kind of acts the same way, except the opponent is constantly walking towards you. And really, you don't want to just walk into Baraka or jump into Baraka like that. But fortunately, it's still relatively early. Down forward block is Sub-Zero's pit fatality. So there's 2 sections in the game where you have to use a certain button command or input set to do a stage fatality. So for Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and I think Reptile as well, is down forward block. And that works on the pit as well as the, I forgot what the arena is called, but there's like a ceiling with spikes. And so those 2 levels you have to use the pit fatality. There is a third stage fatality actually. At the acid pit, which we're going to be at soon, actually, because I think this is one of the last maps in the map set, I believe. Is it? It might be. We'll find out. Now, it's raining like crazy outside right now. You guys probably can't hear it in the mic, but man, I sure did pick a bad day to play some Mortal Kombat 2. It's like, there's thunder and lightning and heavy rain, and it's kind of making like the gameplay feel a little more ominous. I guess as it should, as Mortal Kombat 2. Okay, so if you hold down low punch and do back, then half circle forward, he'll do this fatality, and you have to be all the way across the screen to do it. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll do the deep freeze part for the first fatality, but instead of finishing the other fatality, I'll just jump back and do like the grenade, the ice grenade fatality. Yeah, the next level I think should be the acid pit, although we're at the point where the AI is going to get a little more difficult, so we might start having trouble. And for some reason my controller inputs aren't working right. There's been multiple occasions already where I've tried doing like the ground freeze, and there we go, it worked, and it just didn't work. It could be my controller. So when the characters get down to like the danger level on their health bar, and if I have enough health with Sub-Zero, what I'll typically do is just do the ground slide over and over. Usually 2 or 3 ground slides, once they reach the danger level, will finish them off. So basically, that's what's called chip damage, where like even if the opponent blocks your attack, they still take some damage. No, I'm not going to do it right now. Yeah, he's not at the danger level yet. Ooh, I got lucky. Now, there is one trick you can do in this game where sometimes the AI will just jump backwards right into your projectile, and so he actually did that, which actually saved me on that fight. So the farther we can get into this without continuing, the better, because I'm going to need my continues for the last 2 bosses, if I get to them. I might not even get to them. So here's the acid pit. And let's see if we can do this. Good old freaking Katana. She's a pain in the ass, to be honest with you. Whoa, that is a glitch. I've never seen that before. I have definitely never seen that before. Oh, shoot, I messed up. Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. I was trying to do my slide and it was dumb. I should have just, like, did a simple kick or something like that. Yeah, Katana's really tough because if you get real close, she's got this attack that basically will throw you into the air and stun you. And then when they corner you like this, it's just really tough. And that's it. Maybe she'll knock... No. Yep, she did it. Okay, cool. Well, at least she got to demonstrate that stage fatality. So this stage fatality is actually a little interesting. you have to hold down both low attacks, which is basically B and A, and then while you're holding down those low attacks, you have to do an uppercut, and you'll basically launch the opponent into the acid pit, which is kind of interesting. And Mortal Kombat 2 is so much more involved than the first one, with background interaction and stuff like that. It's really cool. So when you're playing against the AI, wow, I got like a flawless victory. When you're playing against the AI, if you do a roundhouse kick or an uppercut, you're pretty much guaranteed to use your slide attack with Sub-Zero. Katana's just like really just jumping into me, and which allows me to do a roundhouse basically. See, just like this. I'll take the free roundhouses all day. Because again, the AI is just really unfair in this game, is the proper term. Just, yeah, throw me. If they corner you, you're best off just letting them throw you to the other side. Oh, I got lucky again. So again, you're pretty much guaranteed to get the slide attack if you uppercut or roundhouse kick them. To roundhouse kick, you do back and high kick, and it's one of my favorite moves in the game. It's very fast. It's one of the fastest moves in the game, and it does a decent chunk of damage. Not as much as an uppercut, but it's pretty close. It's a nice compromise for speed and flexibility. I say flexibility because like characters can jump in at you and you can just do a roundhouse kick. Where it's a little bit harder to do that with an uppercut. And this is going to be tough. Liu Kang's always challenging in this game. Because if I try to jump in at him, he'll jump and do a fireball, because he can do fireballs in the air. But he also has the ability to do them while ducking now, too. Just like that. So if I do any projectiles, he'll pretty much hit me, regardless. So if I can get some little damage like this, just like that, then we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and just try to chip him to death. That works. Yeah, it's raining like crazy outside right now. It's about 6 p.m. right now, so it's still like the day, and it's... See, that right there is exactly the computer reading your controller inputs. And so they're basically, what happens is, you guys might not really understand what's going on, but what they do is they do things that a human player physically cannot do. It's physically impossible for him to immediately duck my roundhouse and uppercut me. It's just not possible. There's other instances where I'll start to do like a sweep, and he'll throw me in the middle of my sweeping animation. There's a lot of things like that the computer AI does that's just totally impossible for a human player to do. So when you're playing this game, you're really like relying on just like little, like abusing the system, like hoping they just randomly get up into your projectiles, or they just jump back like that, which probably shouldn't have happened, but it did, so I'll take it. I mean, I'll take freebies like that. You pretty much have to. It's really unfair. Now, the arcade game AI was very much kind of the same way, but I've noticed they sort of like modified it a little bit. Like the AI in this game, this version of the game, isn't exactly like it is in the arcade. It's in a way, it's not as difficult as it is in the arcade. Those of you guys that have played both versions of the game a lot will probably know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's it. Nonetheless, the AI is still absolutely brutal in this version of the game. So... I got lucky. I got very, very lucky. I mean, once he's in the danger zone, if he blocks 2 of my slide kicks, then it's enough health, enough chip damage to basically kill him, which is what I was going for. Again, if I ever see the AI in the danger zone with their health, I will definitely, and I have enough health, I'll try to do the slide attack to kill them off, basically. So I'm all about that roundhouse kick. The roundhouse kick is really useful when you're using, like, the ground freeze. Because, with the ground freeze, like, if they walk into it late, like, say you've done the ground freeze, but there's, like, several frames of animation where they don't walk into it, and then they walk into it, you know, basically, the special moves in this game, like this, are on timers. And if that timer runs out while they're, like, halfway on it, they're going to come out of that stun animation, and they're going to be able to attack me. Which is why a lot of times when I've got the ground freeze, I'll hold on. Oh, lucky. Alright, whatever. So basically what happens is if I put the ground freeze in the ground and they just sit there looking at it, wait a few seconds, and then they walk into it, they'll start slipping, but then the timer will run out on the ground freeze, and they'll come out of the stun. The slip stun, we'll call it that. So when I see that happening, when I recognize that's happened, what I'll do is I'll just do a roundhouse kick. Ideally, you want to do an uppercut, because the uppercut does the most damage. You really don't want to do a roundhouse if you can avoid it, unless you have to. So I do the roundhouse when I notice that for time purposes. It's basically to allow me to hit them. Otherwise, they're going to come out of that stun, and well, I got lucky. They're going to come out of that stun and hit me instead. So in this game, when you're playing against the AI, you really don't want to get hit. I mean, obviously that's true if you're playing against a human opponent, but chances are the playing field is going to be a whole lot more even when you're playing against a human opponent. So like right there, it took a few frames for him to walk onto the ice, and that's why I chose to do the roundhouse instead. Ooh, that was bad. Now, I would like to show off some of the other finishing moves, such as the friendships and the babalities, but those are really tough to pull off because in order to do those, you have to play an entire match with just low kicks, basically. I don't know if it's just the second round of a match or if it's both rounds in a match. But at this point in the game, it's going to be insanely difficult to try to pull that off. So I'm not going to try to pull it off. I'm just going to end up wasting a credit. Throw me, Raiden. Thank you. Raiden's another character that's just really tough to deal with. Oh, I would have had him. His life was so low, just any blocked hit probably would have killed him. And yeah, so like you can see, the sweep to roundhouse, to standing roundhouse, doesn't really work that well at this point in the game. The AI is just basically going to do a standing uppercut, which again is pretty much impossible for a human player to do. There's no way to do a standing uppercut at all. And I got lucky there. Raiden's one of the toughest enemies to fight, if you ask me, because, like, if you try to jump kick, he does his lightning attack. If you try to, like, sweep, he'll probably end up doing the Superman move. I don't even know what it's called, but... well, I've always called it the Superman move. Yeah, my controller's not working too well. There's been a lot of instances so far where, he was reading my my controller inputs. I was stupid. I was mashing the buttons, and so he basically threw me twice in a row. All I needed was another slide, and that would have done it. So we only have one continue left after this. That's bad, man. We might not even get to the final boss. So sometimes when I play this game, what I do is, like, I switch to different characters, because some characters have certain abilities that make life a little bit easier against certain other characters. See, that was a good instance to roundhouse, because that ice puddle was about to disappear. Again, it's on a timer, so I'm glad I still hit him. That's good.
Round 2, fight.
See, basically what I'm doing is I'm hoping he's just going to jump right into my projectile. Which he did early on, but he's not doing it right now, unfortunately. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Alright, so we got Kung Lao, which is... he's... pretty much every character in this game could be a pain in the ass by this point. Kung Lao can usually be pretty bad as well, so I guess we'll see how this goes. There's some characters you're better off trying to fight early as opposed to late. But, you know, the order of the roster is pretty much randomized. I don't think there's any rhythm or rhyme to it, unfortunately, so... as long as he keeps doing that, I'll be fine. Or that. He just, like, stops and then jumps right into me. The thing about Mortal Kombat, and this is something that new players don't understand when they play this game, especially against good, skilled human opponents, is that if you jump right into a person, you can just sit there, literally, and just use high kick to counter their either their jump or their jump attack. The high kick pretty much overrides that. And so when the computer AI does the same thing, you can just sit there and do like a high kick. Or a lot of times what they do in this version of the game is they just jump in and don't even attack. They just jump at you for some odd reason. And then in that case, you can just roundhouse them because it does a little more damage. Oh, great. Switch over to Raiden. We just fought him, damn it. Got him. So Shang Tsung, if you're not familiar with Mortal Kombat, he was the boss character of the original MK. And he has the ability to basically shapeshift into other characters. When he does that, that's also on a timer. So they basically switch over for just a few seconds and that's it. And that's it. Got it. So again, you hold down both low attacks and then do an uppercut, which is holding down and pressing Y. Alright, so we're gonna get to Kintaro. This is probably where the Let's Play is going to end. We're probably gonna die here, because Kintaro is extremely difficult.
Round one. Fight.
Yeah, so notice that his attacks just do a ton of damage. And one thing you've got to worry about when getting close to him, like doing these jump kicks, is that he might be able to throw you. Like, he'll block your jump kick and then just throw you right out of it. At least he does that in the arcade. He hasn't done it so far in this one, but I'm pretty sure he can do that in this version of the game. And the dude just does tons of damage, too. Like, his fireball is ridiculously powerful. It's like 3 fireball hits, and I think you're dead. It's really, like I said, like, the AI in this game is just absurdly unfair. And it makes sense. This was an arcade game originally, you know, and the arcade games are meant to suck your quarters out of your pockets, but typically what fighting game players would do, though, is to get the most out of their money back in the days. If they'd get to a boss like this and they died, they would just start over completely. So the big thing with fighting games back in the day, if you did play them single player, you know, typically you would play with other people. You know, especially in the arcades, that's what people were there for, is to fight each other. But if there's nobody there and you were just playing solo, getting some practice in, typically what you would do is you try to go through the whole game without continuing, because then at that point you're just credit feeding if you continue. Yeah, see, he's doing the throw attack. Oh, come on. Why are you going to do that, Kintaro? Give me a chance. At least let us see Shao Kahn. At least let us see Shao Kahn in this Let's Play. One of the things about Mortal Kombat 2 on the Super Nintendo is that you have limited continues, whereas in other home versions, it's... Actually, I don't know if any of the home versions have unlimited continues, like from back in the 90s. Like, I know that the Midway Arcade Treasures versions on PS2 and Xbox and so forth, they have unlimited continues. It's just like the arcade game where you can just keep credit feeding, essentially. So the games are set to free play, basically, on those compilations. But this, they actually limited your continues, so... High kick for the win.
Round two. Fight.
That was close. I should have gotten hit, to be honest with you. My controller... I think my controller inputs are having a hard time going to the right. Doing the quarter circle forwards to the right. Very problematic on my controller. I think I need to get a new Super Nintendo controller. I think, actually, I might have a spare. I'm gonna have to try out sometime. I think I had more than one Super Nintendo controller. But yeah, playing games like this that require the quarter circle, like just the circular motions to begin with, it's really problematic if it doesn't work. Oh my god, we got lucky. We'll get to see Shao Kahn. Out of his big-ass chair, anyway, is what I meant. Oh, jeez. Alright, well, I think this is pretty much our one and only chance. I don't think we have any continues left. And he is a major pain in the ass, in case you didn't realize. Oh, man.
We'll die, mortal.
And that's it. I wonder if the crossover attack will work if you just do that over and over. Probably not. And that's it, guys. Game over. Well, at least we got the Shao Kahn. Like, I really didn't think we would finish that game. Because I rarely ever do. It's hard. Like, you get a limited amount of continues, and the AI is just absolutely brutal. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and just wrap up the Let's Play here. I hope you enjoyed this. For those Mortal Kombat fans out there, like I said, I've got a few other Mortal Kombat Let's Plays. And later this year, I'll probably end up doing a couple more. I'll probably try to tackle at least one MK3. I'd like to do Mortal Kombat 1 on the Super Nintendo. And then, you know, it would be interesting to try to do like the Master System or Game Boy versions. One of them, at least, just for fun. So... but alright guys, thanks for watching. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I've got a lot of Let's Plays on here already, and other long plays and playthroughs and reviews and so forth, and plenty more of that good content to come in the future. For everybody else that's already subbed, thank you as usual. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.